Here we go again. So this is a Crosman 2100 Classic. It is roughly a $47 air gun in total. I actually had to order this one online, but generally you can find them in most big stores with a sporting goods section. All right, let's see what's inside. And that's what the back of the box lists as its specifications. With an alloy pellet, 800 feet per second. With a lead pellet, 725 feet per second. But you're really probably only gonna get 630 feet per second out of this gun. Here's what's in the box, not that much. Had a little piece of styrofoam that protects the cocking mechanism. Maybe that's where that goes, maybe it goes on the barrel. I don't know. Got the gun itself, the scope it came with, and it feels like the rings are on it. Two little pieces of metal, which I have no idea what they do, and the instruction manual, which I'm not gonna read. What are these? This little packet with these two little metal like shims in there. I have no idea what those are. Let's get the box out of the way here. So they're actually extra shims in case you can't get enough tension on the scope rail when you go to mount it. You pop them in and I guess it tightens everything up. So you might be needing those. And it just comes with this little inexpensive 4 to 15 power scope. Just skimming through the instructions because I'm not really sure how many times you're actually supposed to pump this thing, and I assume it was 10 times. The one thing that I found was never pump it less than 3 times or more than 12 times. There's no definite number on how many times you should pump it for. It's like whatever. I'm gonna just say it's 10 times. That's what my old Crossman 760 Pump Master was. But naturally I would pump that thing like 13 to 20 times per shot, because back then I thought the more you pumped it, the better it would be. The gun has some really awesome fiber optic sights on it. Back when I had my first BB gun, I had the Crossman 760 and mine didn't come with fiber optic sights. I just had the regular sights on it. And my cousin had one of these with the fiber optic sights and I was so jealous of him. Back in the day, this was like awesome if you had fiber optic sights. What I did with my 760s, I took some white nail polish and painted the front of my sight blade white so I could pick it up easier. You know, I thought it was cool then. Just playing with it, just figuring out what's what on this. And to load BBs, I guess you pull this back. Then on this side, there's this little, like a slide. You just dump your BBs in there and they funnel in, over, and back here. And when you're done, you just push it, sinks it up, keeps your BBs nice in place. But I won't be using BBs on this gun. First, I'm just gonna make sure this is tightened on the scope because my Gamo shifted. And I think that's why, because I never actually tested that from the factory. So you loosen this up a bit. They pretty much take the guesswork out of it since they already have the rings mounted on the scope. So you just put it where it's the correct position for your proper eye relief for you and just tighten it down. And we'll see if I need those extra shims. Tighten down a little on the front, a little on the back. It would help if I had this shim oriented in the correct direction. There we go. I'm just a beginner, don't judge me. I gotta remember, tight is tight, too tight is broken. I can make do with that. And honestly, if they didn't make this scope mount so thick right here, you could almost have like a see-through mount. You could almost use your open sights underneath as well. For me, it has a heavier pull and a longer pull. It definitely seems like it's single stage, but it's very consistent. It's not like you're having to force it back. It's heavy, but it's smooth. You know, it's not the best. It's not garbage though. It's definitely doable. For a $47 air gun, you can't ask for more. I'm gonna go put it through some pellet testing and show you that too. All right guys, it's day 2. I'm back out at the range. Yesterday I got a little distracted and didn't get to finish my pellet test on the Crosman 2100.
Nice. How you like it so far?
I like it. But listen, when a guy shows up at the range and says, hey, I've got a bunch of guns here, you can shoot as many of them as you want, as much as you want, you know, I'm gonna shoot his guns. So just like before, I'm gonna be testing the Crosman Premiar domes. Thank God that didn't open up. Premiar Destroyers, Premiar Wad Cutters, and the Gamo Black Mystery Pellet. So far, these guns have been really impressing me. So let's get to it. Some things I noticed about the Crossman 2100 Classic right away. It's a heavier gun, and you know that could be a good thing. It's made with more quality parts. The receiver right here is metal. The only downside to that is today it is 33 degrees out, and this metal is now freezing cold, so I've got some gloves on here. So right away I noticed that the Crossman 2100, this is made out of metal. The receiver right here is made out of metal, which makes it a heavier gun than the Daisy 880, which is a good thing, you know, more quality parts. But being made out of metal and it being 33 degrees outside right now, it is freezing cold to touch. The other thing that I noticed is it's a lot harder to pump. When you pump this, you feel it. With the Daisy 880, it's quite a breeze. I guess I just found that out. Apparently if you slide the butt cap back, you got a little reservoir where you can put some BBs. The other thing is that the bolt mechanism has a little plate right here, which is good because it can keep debris out, but if you accidentally get a pellet in there backwards and you aren't paying close attention and you go to close it, that bolt can obstruct your view, so it might hinder you noticing that you're loading a pellet in backwards. It is easier to get a pellet going the correct way in this one, way easier, so you might not have that problem of loading a pellet in backwards. And the easiest way I found to pump this gun is put the butt right between your legs, put your top hand on top of the barrel like this, and then just pump it up like this. On that return stroke, you also can use this hand to grab and squeeze together as well, your top hand, while pulling up. This is way easier to load. I'm actually able to easily do it with gloves on, so if it doesn't go in, just kind of bang on it a little bit. That was the hardest time I've ever had loading one of these things. Normally, way easier. So I'm gonna intentionally load a pellet in backwards and then show you what I do to get it to bounce around in there to go the correct way. It's in backwards. To get it to go correct, I just kind of take my fist, kind of just do a little bounce there, and that's all it took to get it. Now I'm testing the Gamo pellets. These pellets I have mixed feelings for. Gamo advertises these pellets as like the greatest thing in the world. I've never really had any good luck with Gamo pellets. And they're very expensive as well. But that one seemed to hit its mark. Nope. Hard to tell where that one went. Alright, let's go check it. So the Gamo pellets really performed quite well. I was shocked. Now on to the Crossman Premiar wad cutters. Hitting a little low, but if they group well, they'll be fine. Maybe they won't be good. So I just had two really bad flyers on that group, but everything else was dead tight, dead center. So I'm gonna shoot two more times just to see if I can eliminate those two bad flyers, because these wad cutters are really doing well. Starting to open up a bit. Okay, now on to the Crossman Destroyers. These are my go-to 177 cheap Walmart hunting pellet. Hopefully they perform really well. I don't think these Crossman Destroyers are going to do too well. I've got one round left. There's not really a group. I don't think any of them are touching. And I actually saved them for last so I could get, you know, the most trigger time on it to make them perform the best. Let me take this last shot. Yeah, no. I'm not gonna cut it. One interesting thing I just noticed right here, this little pin kind of just bumped out, so I'm just gonna tap it back in there. Field surgery right here. seems all right now. And probably just the vibration from cocking that walked that out. I'm actually gonna shoot a second group using the Crosman Premiar hollow points. I'm doing this, I'm shooting a second group because they were the very first pellets I shot, so let the gun settle in a bit, get some lead in the barrel, maybe I can tighten that group up. That's what I'm talking about. That pin that I just hammered in 2 shots ago has walked itself right back out. From what I can see through my scope, this group seems to be doing a lot better, so I'm excited about that. I think that's really good. That was my first group I shot right there. It was a little, it was open. I'm not gonna say it was a little open, it was open. That's the second group I shot. All touching the same hole except that one, which was only just a little bit out. I'm gonna say that's because the barrel needs some lead down it just to tighten that group up a bit. With that being said, maybe all those other pellets that I just tested, if I went through and retested them, might be tighter as well. I'm not gonna do that, but they might tighten up as well. Okay, my thoughts on the Crosman 2100 Classic, not comparing it to any other rifle, but just solely on this gun alone, is it's very good. It handles pellets really well. Cheap pellets, it shoots very well. I would, however, upgrade the scope to, you know, the next cheapest scope you can find. The crosshairs on this don't focus very well. What do you expect? They're giving you the scope for free. This little pin did walk out a little bit, popped it back in. It is a little hard to cock, but you know what? You're gonna have to grow up and be a man sometime. In the cold, the receiver is cold, obviously, because it's made out of metal, which means the gun will last longer. It's accurate. I think open sights, it's gonna be awesome as well. My one major complaint is just the scope. That's it. Good gun.